My female coworker has already 39 people she's talking to on a dating app.
See, the only thing that I run into when it comes to that is that you started this 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Do you realize, for guys, we have to wait, weeks to get, likes, let alone a person that we are interested in.
Now, don't get me wrong, I feel for this man. He wants love like anybody else. But the thing about it is there are some men that feel a certain sense of entitlement for wanting certain women. And when they can't get that, they get frustrated. That's why they get mad at the rich aunties. How dare you be rich and attractive and fit and have all these things going for yourself and you don't want a man? I feel like they feel like women belong to them. So how dare you play hard to get? If I'm on a dating app, why aren't you throwing yourself at my feet? And they get frustrated when it doesn't work out like that. The fact that women have collectively decided to raise their standards is something that frustrates so many single men. Because as I said it before, and I'll say it many times again, settling is how a lot of them get picked. They don't want to come to the table with things that women actually want. They want to come to the table with money because that has been the easy solution for decades and decades and decades. But women are making their own money, so we're asking, what else you got? And a lot of them are tapping all over the place because they don't know what else they have. They can't add emotional intelligence, that they're kind, that they're patient, that they're romantic, that they know how to listen, or whatever it is. They can't add anything besides money. So when you say, I don't need your money, they don't know what else they can offer you. So they get frustrated with the women. Why aren't you throwing yourselves at us? If my life is already amazing and fulfilled, for you to come in here, you're not going to come in here and disturb the peace. You're either going to add to it, but I will never let you take anything away.
Most people miss the point entirely. Out of hundreds of matches, she'll be fortunate if even one offers real alignment. Quantity doesn't equal connection, and attention doesn't equal compatibility. A grounded man understands this early and refuses to compete in chaos. He moves on quietly, knowing peace is worth more than endless options.
Men and women get frustrated by dating apps, but often for different reasons. Men get frustrated because they find it tough to get matches. Women get frustrated because they get too many matches. Men get frustrated because when they reach out, they don't get a reply or they get a lackluster reply. Women get frustrated because men suck at starting intriguing conversations. Men get frustrated when a woman ghosts them after a few days of chatting. Women get frustrated when a man only wants to be pen pals and won't ask her on a date. Men get frustrated when women look really good in profile pics, but not so much in person. And women get frustrated by that as well. I can't help the women.
Just to let you guys know how low quality these men are on the dating apps, and that they're not really there to find their match. They're just there to play dating with you so they can try and hook up with you. These are what they'll do, and if they do any of these things, they're trash. Don't make the same mistakes I made. I had a guy that would get my seatbelt for me. He picked me up, took me to a restaurant, and then told me that he downloads and uses the apps because he's sexually frustrated. Got it. Another time I was walking to the bathroom, and when I came back, he said, hey, you didn't look very good from the back, but then when you turned around, I was like, oh, she's kind of pretty. Another guy told me in the middle of dinner that I was average looking, he was average looking, and that's why he thought it would work out. Also that he had a trailer that I could use if I ever needed it. Another guy, we were riding home and I pointed out a nice restaurant I wanted to go to, and he said, maybe if you play your cards right. And obviously invited me over afterwards, and I said no. And even the ones that look like they have their shit together, like hotel executives, I've been on a couple dates with those. I literally was in the middle of the meal and the guy had his friend come over and write off the whole meal. And then as he walked through the casino and said hi to everybody, we also got free tickets to shows. The whole thing was written off. It was free. Another guy that I went on a date with, I didn't finish the drink. He kind of complained and said, oh, well, at least they're tax write-offs. Then took me to a really nice restaurant and then asked me to come over afterwards and pretty much threw a fit when I said no and just stormed off and was gone forever. Extreme Dusty, I dated for almost 3 months, invited me over to his house for a bonfire, took me to free car shows and a very cheap play. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Probably the nicest date I went on, I went to a Vegas show, and the guy was a high school teacher. His house was a disaster, and he told me he had an incurable STD, the H. And I said, I can't chance that. He was a raging alcoholic and threw a fit. No, thank you. So anyways, these men on these apps are pure trash, and they're playing dating with you. They're playing, taking you on a date because they want to try and see how easy you are. Don't make it easy. Make them wait. If they wait, they might like you. Also, make them buy stuff for you and take you places you actually want to go. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Spend your time on yourself.
A lot of solid men quietly stepped away after realizing repeated rejection wasn't worth the energy anymore. When men choose peace over constant validation, they stop participating in systems that don't reward effort or character. What's left tends to be extremes. Men who don't care at all and men who thrive on attention. That's not bitterness, it's simply the outcome of incentives. When quality opts out, the environment changes, and pretending otherwise doesn't change the reality.
Last night I went on a walk with a friend. She and I were catching up. I hadn't seen her in a while. And she asked me about my love life, which I never talk about on this platform. But I thought this story was worthy of your consideration. I shared with her the experience that made me realize that dating apps were not for me. I had matched with this gentleman, and we were having an initial conversation, and he starts to ask me about my work. Now, because I know the scale of work that I do and the many accomplishments that has come with it, I really don't bring it up. I don't talk about it. I never lead with that. And so I keep it really general. I said, well, I'm an educator and I'm really passionate about mental health. And so he's like, oh, okay, this is great. What exactly do you teach? What level do you teach? And so I share that information, and the questions become more and more pointed to the point where I'm like, okay, we're having the work conversation. And so I provide a brief summary of the work that I do in terms of my career, my scholarship, and the platform that I have built on social media. And his response was, but can you cook a pot of greens? There's a word for this. Actually, there's a few words for this, but the word is called negging, not nagging, not N-A-G, N-E-G. Negging is backhanded compliments or seemingly playful compliments that are designed to take you down a peg, to put you in your place. And if I was a different woman, I could have laughed it off like, ha, 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 you so crazy. But I'm not that woman. And so a few things crystallized for me in that moment. Number one, love would not find me in this manner. Number two, the work that I do puts me in rooms that I would not be able to leave him in unattended, lest he say something inappropriate and then have people questioning my judgment. And number three, I could not help but wonder, would you have asked a white woman this question? Would you have asked a white woman, can you cook a pot of greens? Which I can, by the way, but that's not the point, is it? It gave me some perspective about his perception of black women, of dating a black woman, and that regardless of what I accomplished in this life, that my value would always be tied to my output, my labor, and my service, my willingness to serve. And so I will leave you with this. Be wary of anybody who looks at all that you are and sees you as a resource to be used rather than a person to be loved.
More men are quietly stepping away and choosing peace over participation, and this is just another sign of that shift. Solid, grounded men are no longer competing in spaces that don't reward consistency, character, or effort. Dating apps increasingly cater to surface-level attention and short-term validation, not long-term value. The result is a clear split. Men focused on purpose move on, while the apps recycle the same small group at the top. No outrage, no bitterness, just men opting out and redirecting their energy where it actually compounds.
I have a theory about modern dating and dating apps. I think that we're actually not supposed to date as many people as we do, and hear me out because I'm not talking about body count. We are schmex positive over here, and we do not shame how many partners you choose to have. What I'm talking about is that I think we end up meeting and going on dates with way more people than we're supposed to. In the sense that when I think about the times pre-dating apps, which I lived in, I'm turning 39, so I was around before dating apps became a thing. You had to rely on just meeting people in the wild. Obviously, going to school, having a job, that kind of stuff made it easier and makes it easier to this day because you will meet people in the spaces that you frequent yourself in. I also think, but I'm not sure, that back then people were bolder when it came to like picking up in public. And I'm talking about picking up in like a respectful way, because there's a disrespectful, annoying way to do it. You would have a partner like every once in a while, every few years sometimes, that person that came along every now and then that you just felt a spark with and wanted to pursue things with. I just remember having crushes. My dating life was dictated by who I had a crush on and like fantasized about all summer. I don't remember, honestly, the last time I had a crush. Like, I don't remember. I mean, I kind of fell in love with someone I saw in the elevator today, and that was like the most fleeting moment ever, but I am thinking about that person for the rest of the day. And we didn't exchange a single fucking word. But you know that if I cross paths with that person in some kind of social space because I did not know what the fuck to say in a 3-second elevator ride, there would be something brewing. With dating apps today, I feel like we are sorting through so many fucking options and going on dates and trying out all kinds of people and then feeling disappointed that most of them don't work out. And I think that it actually makes sense that most of them don't work out, because those people that we actually have a spark with and actually want to end up dating are few and far between. So my thinking is kind of like, is it even worth bothering with the in-betweens? Maybe they still teach us something or help us grow, but a lot of the time I feel like they just like bring a bunch of bullshit that we have to deal with and heal from. Of course, there's the idea that we want that intimacy and connection because it is harder to meet people in the wild. But then I'm like, is it? Is it just because I'm like in my late 30s, I work from home, I don't really go places anymore? Because I feel like if I went to more spaces and was around more people, I would meet more people in the wild. I think it just makes sense that dating apps are exhausting because it's not natural.
Men quietly carry the cost of this disorder, wasting time swiping, chasing, and investing energy that rarely gets returned. What's framed as connection often turns into unpaid emotional labor, attention farming, or validation without substance. Dating apps didn't create intimacy, they monetized vulnerability. And over time, that system leaves grounded men detached, selective, and far less willing to play a game that offers noise instead of value. If the message hit, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.